I was trying to figure out how to put it so that I didn't have to brush it, and this is what we landed on. So, hello.
Perfect. Love it. Let's go.
Well, welcome back, Laura, to Emotionally Unavailable. We're going to call you a friend of the show at this point. You're our little show bestie. You might be now, you might have surpassed the most visits. I think you might be the most visits
Okay.
from one person on the show. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Do I get a certificate?
You know what? You should, and maybe I will make you one.
Oh, I'm totally kidding. Do not spend time making me a certificate.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That'd be hilarious. Hey, my
Um,
certificate is just having a third conversation
right. I'm so
or a fourth
excited.
conversation. I don't even know how many times.
I know. Well, check the show notes because I'll be linking all the other episodes. And for listeners, here's the deal. I love you, but when we've got multiple episodes to go back and post, I'm not going to post every single Spotify and Apple link. What I've been doing is posting the RS download link in the show notes if there was like a previous episode. So check the show notes. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. It'll open up somewhere, but all those will be linked. I know the last ones will be easy because I already have those copy and pasted into a document, but then the very last one you were here for, I'll probably just do the RS download link. I don't know. It just depends on what I have time for. So I'm just preparing people that it may not be. You get to choose between Spotify and Apple. You will have to just click the link, but that's okay because it's worth it because it was a beautiful conversation. Okay, so we discussed for a second what we had wanted to talk about off air. And I got to tell you, it brought up so much for me in 1 second because we're going to talk about, the strength of asking someone for help and being a person that people can ask for help. But I have to say, what the very big thing that came up was, because I'm still in my little grief era. And so
Sure.
my capacity is pretty limited.
Yes.
And I saw this thing on TikTok the other day that said, all y'all want a village, but no one wants to be a villager. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, but I feel like that lacks so much nuance too. And it's like, what is the appropriate villager, And for me, lately it's been like whatever I can deal with at the time. Like my sister had a surgery. She had a hysterectomy. And I could tell she didn't quite understand what that healing process was going to be like. Just because I've had friends that have had this surgery, right? And so I decided that because people showing up with food for us was so impactful, that was a real tangible way I can now show up for others in whatever time of need they have. So I had a really good time. The first couple of weeks I made several meals, but since then it's just been once a week or once every other week if I can. But that was something I've really had fun doing, and really it's been so fun too just to see them be excited about what we bring and things like the whole thing and remembering how much we felt those things too when people brought us food. So that's been a really good part, but I know that if I reacted to this, you have to be a villager thing, it's because I was being defensive. And
Right.
I'm like, I don't necessarily have to be defensive either, because if you don't have the capacity, you don't have the capacity. But I also think the capacity shifts when there's an emergency too.
Right.
Even in my time right now, if someone had a crisis, depending on what it was, but I even kind of view the hysterectomy when you have a whole family that you're feeding and whatever as a little bit of a crisis, but I can step up
You can
then.
step up. Right.
Yeah. I don't
And
know. It just made me
the
think about
first
that.
thing that instantly comes to my mind, defensive, I'm glad you said that because that's what I felt even as you said that, is I didn't even see that. But also, and again, this is perfectly with the point we wanna highlight today, a villager looks different than someone who 9 to 5, all they do is available for support.
Mm.
You hosting this podcast is being a villager.
Oh, wow, I didn't think
Someone
of it like that.
think of that, and that's what brings shame on us, right?
Mhm.
Think about somebody working out, someone cooking dinner for their family, someone in their car driving who listens to one of your podcasts and you say something or they hear something that they need in that moment or gives them strength. That's you being a villager in their life. You have no idea that they were in Nebraska in the car, like, listening to your
Yeah.
podcast, right? So that's the point. I can't believe you started there because it is so perfect. That's the point of us connecting today. A villager doesn't look like what we often put in the box of a villager. A
Yes.
homemaker who doesn't work outside the home, and so they're just available 24/7
Yes.
to meet your every need. A villager looks like
Yes.
being present in the world.
I like that. You're so right, and that's no wonder I became defensive because you're right. The picture I have of a villager is ask and you shall receive from
It
whoever you need it
literally
from.
right, exactly. In the moment, like a fairy, you just magically
Yeah.
appear, right?
Yes.
And you
And if
stay,
you
you
think
never
about
disappear.
what a village looks like and how it's run, like, truly, think about a village and all the moving pieces and,
Right.
like, there's a person who goes and gets the water, there's a person who plants, there's a person
Mhm.
who harvests, there's a person who
Who
does
harvest.
all kinds of different things, and you can show up in so many different ways, and
Yes.
yeah, you know what I think? I think that us talking about the power of being able to ask for help and how that empowers us to be able to receive and to show and others people asking us for help empowers us to receive. I also think I must have felt a little bit of shame in this
Yes.
season where I feel like I'm receiving a lot more than I'm
Yes.
giving.
Right. Right. And that's that's what I wanna highlight because I felt that same way. I felt so much shame that I was having to receive more support, to work through the anxiety, to work through the depression, to work through the grief as I was adjusting to being a person who's blind in a sighted world.
Mhm.
So I felt shameful that I was having to receive that much help.
Uh-huh.
I was forgetting there will be many points from here on out where I will give more than I receive. And that's not bad. That's not wrong. That's not right. It's just the ebbs and flows of life. It's
Mhm.
always going to be, we sometimes receive more, we give more, receive more, we give more. It's, as you know, life is not this like even 50-50 kumbaya.
Yeah, and if we can view the times when we're giving or receiving as just part of the flow, not
Yes.
necessarily something to keep, like,
Ex-
accountable to, but
I was
just
going to say keep score.
yeah, yeah, just flowing with it but flow really does mean what feels good too. Flow happens when there is the synergy of giving and receiving at the same time. If you're in
Yeah.
true flow, you will feel like you're receiving when you're
Yes.
giving. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
that I think is a huge hint about whether or not you're maybe giving too much and also resentment. That's kind of my how I gauge my capacity now is if I'm feeling resentful or not of the ask. Like that just immediately, because I would have gone down rabbit hole after rabbit hole in my former life. Anytime resentment came up, I would have found all of this way to be pissed at someone when really it was just because I was ashamed that I didn't have what it took to be able to
Right.
give in that moment or
Right.
even enough to say no because I knew like I was, hey guys, it's me. Emotionally Unavailable is produced 100% in-house by me with no team. So if the show has ever helped you and you want to give back, subscribe to the Patreon. There's several different levels with different benefits in each. Check the show notes and you can see what each tier subscription will get you. There's also lots of fun things coming down the pipeline for the Patreon subscribers, so get in early. You can get a workbook, you can buy merch, you can do any of the things, and all of that supports the show to help it keep going. Really appreciate every single one of you. I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what we continue to do together. Really just mad because I didn't want to be in a position to disappoint someone. And
Disappoint.
yeah.
Right.
And so now, though, like, I've found myself a couple of times someone coming to me for emotional support about something and my response being kind of like resentful of the ask, but
Ask.
that's just my cue right then to be
Right.
like, "Oh, honey, they didn't do anything wrong by asking, but you're not doing anything wrong by not being in the place, but you do have to be honest about, don't be shitty, don't be
Right.
passive aggressive,
Don't be
don't
as
try to offer the
aggressive.
support, right,
Right.
don't be a bitch."
Right.
But, like, we do have to look for those clues sometimes because
Yeah.
some of those responses are so innate. They've been in there for so long that you do kind of have to go, okay, what's something that's going to let me know kind of quickly whether or not I have the capacity for this? I'm kind of glad because that's such a strong reaction that I
Right.
know immediately, oh, we do not have the capacity. Because if you're feeling that just from the initial part of this
Right.
conversation, you don't have it, baby. You don't have it. But that's how I know that's not flow.
And I want to highlight what you're saying for everyone to take away. It's okay if you don't have the capacity.
Mhm.
If you're in that place where you aren't in the flow and you don't have the capacity, there's no shame in that. That doesn't mean you're less of a human. That doesn't mean you're less worthy. Just using your life as an example, what you've been through in the past, what month are we in? 7? So,
Today
like,
is 7.
just so in the past, like, let's say 8 months, because I know Jake died in December, right?
Mhm.
Wasn't it December? So
Yep.
let's say 8 months. There's no shame that you don't have the capacity. Like,
Right.
look what you just went through. You're grieving the loss of your flesh and blood, like, of your part of you, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I wanna highlight for everyone to understand. There's no shame when you do not have the capacity.
Well, and just like I think you said this off mic, but the reminder that when we, um are able, like, to give because someone's asked for the support and you have the capacity and you give and
Mhm,
it empowers you to be able to ask too. When
mhm.
you have to say no because it's beyond your capacity,
Yeah.
you also teach other people it's okay to say no too.
Right, right. Is the source of the strength. Is the
Mhm.
source I mean, I view that as self-compassion and self-love that you're saying, "I know my capacity. This is more than I have strength for right now. So I'm actually not gonna support you and offer what give you what you need in the best way than someone else can give you right now."
Right, yeah, because honestly, if I'm giving from that dry place, I
Right,
really am rude. I mean,
right,
I'm
exactly, and
trying
you're
my
short,
best, but I'm
I'm
not
short.
nice.
Yeah, I know, I'm very short and, like, let's get to the point and move on.
"What do you need? How
Right,
can I help?" Yes, yes. Well,
and
and
it
that's
comes
what's been
across
Go
just
ahead.
like I'm checking a box, right? Like, "Okay, I'll help you with that
Yeah.
because you asked and I feel like I'm obligated, so I'm gonna help you in the least way." So I can check the box and I helped you and then move on.
Yes, and honestly, nobody wants to be given to from that place, but let me ask you
Right,
about this. So one of the things that I've had to realize is and granted, I'll say, obviously, I had put in a lot of work before I lost Jake, so these are
right,
understandings that, like, I'm just advanced in my grief
right,
process versus other
right,
people, and I'm learning
right,
that, so I wanna point that out. I don't wanna think anyone to think I'm saying you're wrong, I'm right, whatever, but one of the things I had to learn for myself in this idea of connection versus disconnection is that if I didn't want to be isolated the way I felt in my grief, then I had to ask people for what I need. I had to learn what I needed and ask for it, and not assume that people can read my mind.
Right.
All of those things, all of the things. And then sometimes even just learning how to like lovingly, gently correct someone when they do say the dumb shit, whatever it is. But one of the things that I've really been noticing recently is how, like, when we ask for help, um, Imma say me specifically, I'm looking for any telltale sign that you don't fucking wanna do this,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna latch onto that and be like, it's fine, I knew better than to ask," whatever, and protect myself because really the
Perfect.
fear there is the vulnerability that,
Yep.
A, I need the help to begin with, and B, that I'm a burden, I'm not allowed to take up space,
Right.
I'm just confirming all these shitty stories that were told to me as a child, and in these really innocuous moments. And someone the other day was talking to me and saying that, they're needing a lot of help right now. And so and so was going to help, but they always complain or what, they make it known that it's kind of an inconvenience for them or whatever. I personally feel like we have to approach those things with a little more compassion, where, first of all, maybe the person really shouldn't have given because they didn't have the capacity if they're going to be quote unquote complaining about it. But I
Right.
kind of think maybe you're just viewing them maybe
Right.
expressing a little bit of rush or stress or whatever as complaining because you
Right.
felt so uncomfortable with asking in the first
It
place.
Yes, I 100% agree with that, and I'm okay, immediately comes to mind again, I'm so glad, as always, we're as you say things that makes me think, here's what I would tend to do. As you were describing, like, you would latch on to any little bit of, "Ooh, I'm being a burden. Ooh, I'm taking up too much space."
Mhm.
What that looked like for me is I would give the request and then totally water it down. I need help with this. But if you can only do like this, that is totally fine because really it's not that big a deal. If you can help me, it's all going to work out. I would totally water down the request before I gave them a chance to respond. Does that
Yes.
make sense what I mean by watering
Yes,
down?
I
Like,
used
I would
to
go,
do
it's
that
okay, it's okay.
too.
Because again, you said it perfectly. It was making me feel so vulnerable to ask. I felt
Mhm.
less vulnerable and felt like I was protecting myself. And I said, "But that's totally okay if you can't. I totally understand. I really don't need this that bad right now." I would protect
Yes.
myself by making it less.
Yes. Well, and I realized this was one key way that I was confirming subconscious narratives and making my outer world match my inner world. So one of the things that really that really was born of that was like, oh, so I have a story. That neglect wound is really big in me. So my story is I have the weight of the world on my shoulders and no one to help me carry it. So then when I go ask, I'm scared of rejection. I'm scared of being a burden. I'm scared of being a disappointment. And I also have to confirm this story. So as soon as they give me any evidence that they don't want to be doing this, and listen, anything can be evidence if you're searching for it, then that gets to confirm to me, "Eh, this is why I don't ask. I knew better. I have no one to help me carry this weight of, that's on my shoulders." And that was really big, was like learning, okay, if you viewed this in a very specific lens, you will always see what you're wanting to see.
What you want to see.
Uh-huh.
Right. That and to that same point, I slowly realized because I was getting frustrated why are people not giving me what I'm asking for. I realized it was coming across to them like it was no big deal, and I really didn't need you to give me this. Like,
Nonchalant.
wow, yeah, nonchalant. So why would they? Right?
Yes.
I was proving exactly what you said. I was proving the narrative to myself. So I had to get to that point where I just asked the request and then just stop.
Yes.
Just shut
Yes.
my mouth, right? And and just see what happens. And of course, there'll be times
Yes.
when you get hurt, and of course, that is really disappointing and hurts. But more times than not, I got my request.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, I cannot be responsible for managing someone else's capacity. So
Right.
I'm not going to sit anymore and worry about whether or not they have too much on their plate. I mean, I'm not going to go to the one person I know struggling the very most in life.
Right.
I'm not. But like, your normal everyday stuff, I'm going to ask and then assume that they're going to make a choice that's good for them. I'm not going to manage their capacity for them. And if I do get evidence that maybe they really didn't have the capacity, I'm also gonna understand that didn't have shit to do with me.
Right. Exactly. I take it so personal. Oh my gosh, I asked too much.
Yes.
And I want to get this on a very practical level of like what this looks like on a day to day, specifically for me. So let's say, and this happened a lot. I was in a deep panic attack, and maybe it was sometime in that like 8 to 10 range at night. So people are getting ready for bed.
Right.
Your friend's schedule, right? What would I do? Text my friend, "Hey, if you have a minute, could I give you a call? If not, it's absolutely no big deal. I hope you rest well tonight. We can totally talk tomorrow." I'm in the floor in the fetal position, bawling my eyes out, can barely get my breath in a panic attack. If I just called her and said, "Oh my God, I'm in a fetal position in a panic attack. Will you just give me 10 minutes?" She would have woken up if she was already asleep, right? Like, of
Yeah.
course she would have called me back or answered my call. But when I leave a message or send a text, it's like, "Oh, hey, I just want a few minutes. But if you're already asleep or getting ready for bed, we can talk tomorrow." Of course, we're gonna talk
Yes.
tomorrow. So that's what I mean by like the watering down. I'm
Yes.
are so depressed, I can't function. I can't send that work email I need to send. But I call that friend and she's like, "Oh, I'm in the grocery store." And instead of saying, "Okay, call me when you're in the car," I'm like, "No big deal. We can talk next week." So
Right.
that's a practical example of what I mean about watering down.
Yeah, there's these memes that go around that's like me asking for something like, "Hey, no worries if not absolutely no worries, no worries." Meanwhile, I'm very worried. Um,
Exactly. Be mom having a panic attack,
yeah,
right?
meanwhile, but something else that I kind of had to realize too, and this was something I realized really early on in the learning to become more emotionally available, was in the vein of confirming those shitty ass narratives that we have.
Okay.
You also can't go to the exact wrong person on purpose subconsciously and ask for these things knowing damn well you went to your one friend that is historically pretty, like, self-centered, emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I feel
That's
like that's
really
something I used to be really bad
okay.
at. It's purposely picking someone I couldn't really get that vulnerable with.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
yeah. Yeah,
Like, and that
exactly.
was really subconscious too, obviously, but I do think it's something to be aware of. Again, don't go to your friend that is, like, struggling the most right now,
Right.
and don't go to
Right.
your friend that's, like, going through the fucking divorce crazies, hoeing it out, like, only
Right.
cares about the next dick. Like, she's
Yep.
not gonna
Yep.
be there for you.
She's not gonna be there. And then you're gonna get so disappointed and like, "Oh my god,
Yes.
I know I asked for too much."
Exactly. It's gonna be anytime I say to myself, "This is exactly why," that's again, I have all these little cues that teach me like, "Oh,
Yep.
hey, you're supposed to stop and examine this when you think this." Like anytime I think this is exactly why, I know I've just confirmed a narrative to myself. And so I have to
Yes.
back out of the whole situation and look at every angle and say, why did I just make the choice that I made? Because what was the story and what was I trying to confirm? Why did I choose? Like, how did I confirm it? Because I know that's my clue. But I recognize that sometimes in my effort to not want to ask for help, but I'm, maybe you trying to use shit talk to myself or something to do it instead of like love for myself,
Right.
I'll go to the wrong person to ask. And then also this brings up for me too, like realizing that not everyone in the village is the same. And like you have to have different friends for different things or
Different
different, going to
things.
different loved ones of any kind for different
Yes.
things.
That's and knowing who you can go to for what.
Mhm.
And and that again, that's not saying, "Oh, he's better than this," or "She's better than him," or it's not like a favorite thing. It's just having trust in different friendships and
Yep.
family members, right?
Mhm.
Like, for example, there are certain people, like, in my close well, I'm even more family, but let's just say family and friends, like my close circle that I know I can pick up the phone to and just be like, "Okay, will you just agree with me and just listen to me? I know you understand this life thing is really, really, really hard. I'm not saying victim. I'm not saying I want to like yell at the world. I'm not saying anything. I just know that you can hold my space and understand this life is really hard."
Yep.
And they're like, "Yep, this is tough. And this is just part of it." There are other family members, if I said that to, they'd be like, "Now, count your
Exactly.
blessings. God is good. Don't you
Oh
talk
god.
like that." Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, they would be like, "You have so much going for you.
Mhm.
God's
Look at all the
always
things you have to be grateful for.
look at yeah, and has God always not provided?" And I'm like, "That's not the point. The point is I just need somebody to hold space with me and say, 'This life thing is hard,
Yep.
and I'm thankful,'" right? So, that's what we mean about kinda knowing those family friends that you can go to that are just gonna hold the space with you and not almost dismiss not almost, are going to dismiss your feelings.
Yeah, but you're bringing up an excellent point too, in that when you're needing someone to just hold you and be like,
Yes.
"Yeah, this fucking sucks," and you have to say that's what you're needing, because I think we're
Right.
expecting people to know too much, and
Yes.
even me, listen, all of us humans are natural fixers. It's what our brain
Right.
does, and we're also emotionally unavailable, so our natural inclination isn't to sit with your feelings, it's to try to
Right.
rescue you. And so, even me, even after all this time, my first instinct is not to sit with you. Sometimes
Me
having
too.
the reminder that that's all that you need is helpful. So, again, if we can learn ourselves really well, we know how to ask for the support we need. And that is a strength in itself, is to say, not just, I'm struggling, but hey, here's exactly how you can show up for me right now. Like, I'll do this thing sometimes where I'll text someone and I'll go, listen, this and this happened today. I really just want you to feel sorry for me. Literally, that's all I want. I want you to feel sorry for me. And listen, it helps when someone's
It
like,
helps.
damn,
I
girl,
was
that
gonna
is
say,
fucking
it
true.
helps. Yep.
It
It
helps.
okay, again, this is the takeaway. That's actually a healing strength. That's not a form of pity and victim. And here's why. You're stating your needs. Here's what happened to me today, the A, B, and C. I need you to feel sorry for me. Thank you for feeling sorry for me. Okay, now I'll rest well.
Exactly. Because
So
here's the deal.
you're stating what you need, and then you're moving on from that need.
Yes.
Now, if you said, "Hey, A, B, and C happened to me today. I need you to feel sorry and the rest of the world for sorry the rest of my life," that'd be an issue. But when you're saying exactly what you said in this moment,
Yes.
that's a healing resource because
Yes.
someone is sitting with you in your pain.
Yes. And so someone said this on here about manifesting, where you have to know where you started. And it's okay to be honest about where you're starting, because, like, if you use a GPS to calculate your location, it has to know the starting point,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So, one of the things that we get wrong in terms of offering or receiving support is the idea that it always has to be where you're going, but it has to start with where you are. So,
Or
so much of
ooh,
support, even if you're the person that they're coming to help them figure out the path, you have to know where they're starting. You have to hold them in the fact that they're starting there and validate that this is a real life experience that does fucking suck. But yeah, I
right,
can hold you in that and then help you figure out the path forward. But there is no path forward if you don't
right.
have a starting point.
If that's brilliant. That is such a brilliant analogy because you can't put in, okay, GPS, I want to go to, Starbucks at this location. Well, they don't know how to get you there because they don't know where in the world you are.
Yeah, like where are you?
Are
Do
you in
you are you
Washington
coming from
State? Are
Alaska? Are
you
you
in
flying? Are
Washington
you
State?
driving? What are you
Right.
doing?
Exactly. Exactly. Are you walking? And in fact, Google Maps, Apple Maps always ask like walking directions, biking direction, cycling,
Right.
driving, like what kind of map do you want? And that
Yes.
is so healing. I'm glad you said that. I've never thought about that. We have to know where we're starting from.
Yes. And I have found that that is the key when you're working in both, like, a spiritual plane and an emotional plane where you're really trying to alchemize the 2 of being a human and
Yes.
being the spiritual being, and you're trying to tap into both all the time, is that you don't have to do either or. It is and both, and you
Right.
have to know, "Okay, this is real. What I'm going through is real, and
Right.
it's hard, and there is no real playbook for any of this. So, yeah, I'm gonna acknowledge it, and I'm gonna hold that and have the truth, which is there is always a way forward. But I have to
Right.
know where I am to move forward. And so I think that's one of the things that we get wrong when we're
Yes.
trying to either give or receive support is that we don't need that initial like coddling phase. But I think we do. I think
We do.
actually I've been
Yeah.
thinking a lot about coddling and about like how it's gotten such a negative connotation, but that if the world had received so much more coddling, we would all like not feel so unworthy. But I think
Unworthy.
that we have to be able to hold ourselves and each other a little bit more, a little bit tighter
Yes.
and but softer at the same time and just say like, "Oh my gosh," because I don't think anybody actually stays stuck in that moment when
Right.
somebody validates it. All
Right.
we
That's my
need
whole
is
point of
somebody to
grit.
say
That's
it.
all I speak on. Right. When we validate our emotions, then we can move through the change.
Yes. Yes.
That's so
Yes.
true. And I mean, I can say from my life experience, when people have validated my emotions or when people have not validated my emotions, uh, my two reactions are completely different. One allows me to move
Yes.
forward. And when my feelings are not validated, it is like, I'm like, oh, like crying out for help, internally. I don't mean like literally physically, but just
Yeah.
internally. Like, does anyone help me out here? And
Yes,
again, a
because
very tangible
resistance keeps us
example.
stuck.
Right, right. A very tangible example, and this just popped into my mind. I wasn't planning on saying this. I very vividly remember sitting in a therapist's office. I remember the couch. I remember the chair she was sitting in. I remember the day. I remember everything. And I was saying, expressing to her how much anxiety I was having and just what that looked like for me. And
Yeah. Yes. Mhm. Right. Yes. Well, and so much of this work is learning that you don't have to be validated to be valid, but I also don't think that you're surrounded by the right people if they're constantly dismissing how you're feeling. And for me, I get now that when people are dismissing you, it's because they're trying to get you out of something, get you out of your grief, get you out of your anxiety, panic, whatever it is, they're just trying to fix it. I've learned that so it doesn't hurt me the way it used to, but it does frustrate the shit out of me because I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have to go back to my inner world, which is not where I wanted to be right now. I wanted to share this with someone. I just wanted someone else to carry this load with me. And here you are telling me it's too heavy for you too, which just makes me feel like I'm too much. And and then I have to work through that. I'm not too much. I just went to the wrong person, all these things. But yeah, I think, I've told you this before, but one of the big tenets of healing for me was when I learned, like, I don't want to be strong. I don't want to be resilient. Like, okay, I am those things, but I don't give a shit about those things. I want to be soft and I want to be held and I want to be nurtured and I want to be loved. But so much of that really is about allowing others to do that. And I can think of all of the ways that I haven't allowed them. And even like when someone is really dismissive or invalidating, learning how to give the grace and compassion to teach them in that moment. Like it's not always your responsibility, but there are times when you can go, no, I get that, but like I need this right now and I'm going to get there, but I need this right now, and how like feeling that empowerment in yourself to not take whatever their response to you was personally and just come back with more truth, like, yeah, no, I get that. And I'm going to get there eventually, but right now this. And sometimes we as humans need reminders that like cuz like this is the story that's coming up for me right now. It's the worst. I feel ashamed of this every time I think of it. But, I used to work in hospice and this was early in the hospice career. I was with a lady who was probably my age that I am now, two teenage kids, and she had some form of cancer that was really bad, and she ended up having to receive palliative sedation because she lost her fucking mind at the end, like was like uh just out there, really out there. And so they ended up having to sedate her because she was just losing her faculties so quickly. And one of the things that I had to do for that was record goodbye messages with her to her children. And before we started, she was just expressing so much grief. I'm so embarrassed, but she was expressing so much grief about not being able to watch her kids, like, get married and all the things. And I said something really fucking stupid, something to the effect of, but you'll get to watch them from heaven. And I was so pissed at myself immediately. And I'm so glad that she was like, yeah, but it's not the same. Cause I got a chance to stop and go, you're right. And I shouldn't have said that. Like, you're exactly right. It's not the same. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, you're right. And I shouldn't have said that because I knew immediately I shouldn't have said it. But she gave me the opportunity to apologize by coming back at me and being like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Ooh, yeah. But Laura, what if even if they got defensive, because this is something I'm learning too. What if even if they got defensive, you stayed chill and regulated and didn't take that shit personally and let them get their defensive rant out and said, "No, I get it." And this and gave them another chance. That's what I'm learning, is that the initial response and even the one right after that may not be what we're wanting, even if it's we're asking for help and they say it in a way that makes you feel like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have asked," or whatever. And then you give them grace and you wait and you don't take it personally. Whatever it is, like I'm learning people's initial responses and then even the one right after. If you can stay chill, oftentimes they fix themselves. But a lot of times they're defensive and then we're defensive and we engage in this little thing with them. You know what I mean? But they can get their shit together if we stay calm. Yeah, me either. Yeah, because what you're fighting for, both of you, is to be seen and to be heard. That's really it. I don't have to fight for that anymore. Mhm. Yeah, and I'm gonna put it this way too for people who hear me say things all the time. Chill, safe, because that's really what's coming up is our nervous system goes, "There is fucking danger in this environment right now." But part of staying chill is reminding yourself conflict isn't unsafe. It can be really safe because you are safe. You have created this home within yourself that is safe and love and warm and nurturing and comforting, and you just sit in that while they have their little situation and it will work itself out. But I think that's the true piece of compassion. And like I have friends that you try to teach emotional availability to, and they're maybe like really headstrong about the fact that like, no, you can't come to me unless you want solutions. They do not understand that that is a form of emotional unavailability and that they are afraid of being vulnerable and they don't like how uncomfortable they feel with the fact that you have a problem they can't fix. Fine. I'm not judging the way I used to. I used to feel like that was them not showing up for me in the way I need. Now I understand that's a capacity issue. They don't that I don't need to go to them for that type of support, and um it doesn't have anything to do with me. But if I go to them and I say, like, maybe I really am just needing, like, someone to talk to, and I go to them and they start the shit, I can stay really calm and bring it right back to what I was saying. Like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I hear you, and blah, 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 blah." You can learn to discern too. Say what you need. 'Cause so much about this is you have to get shit out of your body. You have to say it to someone, and what they respond with really is none of your business. It was really the act of getting it out. Exactly, exactly. And it's in terms of asking people for emotional support, which is different than, other types of support. But the emotional support that you should expect is the relief that you feel when it's coming out of your mouth. And then everything from there is whatever. If they show up beautifully, that is so great for you. You're very lucky. If they don't, that doesn't have anything to do with you, and you did what you needed to do by sharing, because so much of the reason we internalize is these people that we have around us that aren't good at showing up for what you need. But just get it out of you. Talk, 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 talk. Keep talking because it really does help. Yes. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the delicate nature of that balance. Is I do think that you can receive so much just by stepping outside of your own circumstances to help others, but I think that the self-love portion of that is, am I able to do this? But I think there are a lot of things that we are able to do. I wouldn't have guessed that I'd have the energy to do anything nice for my sister, but right, but it actually was so exciting that it gave me the energy to do it. Like, it gave, there's been lots of days I couldn't, but the days that I can, that's where I'm not shaming myself for the days that I can't. I'm just really excited for the days that I can, and I think she's really excited for the days that I can, like, she's not expecting me to do any more than I am able to do. It's just she's just received the gift whenever it showed up. I'm a porch drop off type of gal. I just text her and say it's on the porch. So you ain't got to entertain me. I don't want to anyway. I got to go. So like it works out really well. Um, but I think that it is a balance. I would never want anyone to, again, to think that we're talking about that bypassing aspect. But even like in my darkest days, when I still worked at that school, I was fucking miserable. And some days, the only way I knew how to get out of my misery was to sit and write every member of the staff, like including the kitchen staff, the janitors, a nice note, and I would do that. I did that probably 6 times that year, and I mean, it would take hours because every single member of the faculty got one, but it gave me so much joy to do it, and then I got to watch them be, like, so grateful that somebody could see their struggle and that I cared enough to wanna uplift them and just said something nice to them, and, like, that was a really big deal to me. That was a go-to strategy that I had on the really, really worst days because I didn't have the energy or capacity to do what I really needed to do in that role on those days, but, I mean, sitting around hating my life wasn't helping either. So it Right, so I was like, "What can I do to get out of this mindset right now?" And it would always shift everything, and it has been such a joy to do nice things for my sister because, again, she's so grateful too, like, she's so sweet about it, and just, like, anytime is fine, and I will find myself I think it's important to say even though I don't stay here, I will find myself like, "Man, I haven't had a chance to get my sister any food this week. I feel like shit about that." But then I just, like, have to soothe myself and move on. It's not that I don't have those human feelings because I do, but, like, I'm not sitting in shame over it. I know I'm doing a great thing. Anytime I have the capacity to do it, that's enough. Yeah. Right. Yes, because if you self-abandon and go do things that you didn't have the capacity for, that's when resentment pops up. Whereas the joy has stayed constant in this because I'm only doing it when I can. Yeah, right. So there's 0 resentment. It's just fun. It's literally just fun. Yep. Yes. And it felt like flow, and that's literally how you can tell if you are doing the right thing by giving in this moment is how does it feel? Does it feel good to give? Like, And if it doesn't, that's okay. Meet yourself where you are. Meet yourself exactly where you are because you're not getting to the location without knowing your starting point. I know, right? I have too. Ever since she said that to me, I was like, damn, that's so smart. Yup. Every time. 'Cause that's the only way to get in that full flow. You won't get the joy of giving if you didn't have anything to give in the first place, but when you do, you will receive the joy. And then, let me say this too, because we gotta wrap it up. That's how you receive joy in the receiving too, is because that's the perception you're going to have of them giving. If you're constantly giving from a place of overflow and love and joy, and you know what the flow feels like, that's the way you're going to perceive receiving that support too. Because the reason that you have projected all this negativity onto asking for help and then receiving it is because you know damn well your bitch ass was used to giving from a place that didn't have enough to give and was constantly pissed that you were given. Well, that's what you were projecting. So now, when you give from a place of self love, that overflow, only when you have enough to give, then you view receiving so much differently. Yes, yes, because you know what it feels like to give. Mm-hmm. Peace. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Exactly. So, if you're a person struggling to receive, check in on how you're giving, because probably you're giving from a dry place, a place of no capacity. Stop abandoning yourself when you start to give from the right place, not to please, not to achieve, not to earn, but from a true place of love for yourself and sharing that love with others, then you will view receiving 100% differently. Okay, Laura, remind us where we can find you. Okay, great. And check the show notes because the other episodes with Laura will be there. They've all been fabulous, so you don't want to miss them if this is your first time. Well, thank you so much, sister. I've loved it. Every time. Every time. Never without fail. Okay, I'm pressing stop. Hold on one sec. Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share. Emotionally Unavailable. All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming.
INDEPE and cut.